Hey guys, so this video is more directed towards my fellow dragon lovers. Basically, those of you who are interested in the draconic ways, those who maybe are already walking the path. What I have decided to do, I guess that you can say that this is yet another series introduction. I know that I have my coffee time series, but sometimes your brain needs to kind of step back, relax, reboot, so then you can come up with something new and unique in order to talk about. So, therefore, in order to basically help me to further my studies and to help those around me, I am deciding to do basically chapter reviews on this particular book, Sea, Land, Sky, a Dragon Magick Grimoire by Parker J. Torrance. I don't remember what video I've shown this in, but I have shown this book before, pretty much right after I got it. It was kind of like my birthday gift to me. Cost me $20 off of Amazon. And this is primarily, you go through it. It is more spiritual based. It's not just magic. It is more spiritual driven. It's not very big. It's only about, including the appendix and not including the bibliography, it is 157 pages. Now, there is some interesting information in the appendixes, which is why I counted them in. And there are, where'd it go? Basically, little pages to where if you wish to, you can write notes instead of it just being blank. So it's kind of like lined and faded, and you can just basically write your own stuff. So I thought that that was interesting. I personally do not write in my books, due to the fact that yes, they can, wear away, and, they get worn over time, but I just don't feel right writing in a book. Especially, in case you put something personal in it, and, you have a friend or family member who are borrowing the book, and you really don't want them there to, see some of that information, even though that's what your Book of Shadows is for, but that's not the point. That's one of the reasons, and plus I don't want to, yes, I kind of bend them and whatnot, but I just feel that the values of the book even more if, you write or you highlight or do anything in order to basically deface the pages. Two other books that I do own, but right now they're in storage, that are really good in order to look into, which I will say that in order to use for a starting point, they are good, but I wouldn't just stick with those two books. The first one is primarily information based. There are some rituals, some spells, but for more information on dragons themselves, such as the different types, fire, water, wind, sky, storm, earth, mountain dragons, cave dragons, and, different types, like the Asian, the Eastern, the Western, another one of my favorites, I believe it's called a wyvern. It's, W-Y-V-E-R-N. Basically, it has 2 legs, 2 hind legs, and 2 wings, and everything else is pretty much the same. And then the second book, and that was Dancing with Dragons from DJ Conway. The second book is Mystical Dragon Magick by, yet again, DJ Conway. It does have some information, some new and unique information, but it is primarily rituals, spells, and guided meditations, which I will take the information from it without a problem. You know, I'm always seeking new information, new different information on pretty much anything that I come across, especially when it comes to my path. But I'm not just here for the magic. I need to know what the hell I'm doing, what I'm working with, and basically have a foundation in order to be able, in order to perform what it is I'm trying to do. Now, yes, I have my foundation. I have information, but I'm trying to gather more information. Kind of feeding my soul that it's like constantly hungry. It's like I just want more. You know, I know what guardians I am working with. I know what basically elemental guardians that I'm working with. But again, it comes down to wanting more information. So, what I'm going to do with this book, as I said, I'm thinking about doing chapter reviews. Of how I'm going to go about it is, it depends on the length of the chapter, and depends on how much information I gather from that chapter, or those chapters. There is no set time frame in between. You know, I'm not going to say that it's definitely not going to be a daily thing. I can tell you that right now, because I need time there to read it, take notes, absorb it, so then that way I'm not just reading off of the paper. You know, I am, like I said, absorbing that information so then I can relay it to you within my own words. I mean, some things may be different from what is typed up in here, but it's kind of like what I said about, you know, my past in paganism. It flows more easier when you're talking about it from basically your own standpoint, instead of just reading it. It kind of, I don't really know what to call it, but the chapter, it has 2 sections. So it has part 1, Here There Be Dragons, kind of common among dragons, but the second part, I like the title of it. It's unique, it's common yet unique at the same time because of a specific word that's thrown in there. It is the Book of Dragon Shadows. And just the play on dragon shadows, it kind of makes it a little bit fun, in my opinion. Now, part 1 has, of course, it has a prologue and caution. I typically skip the prologues, you know, because they're kind of like, okay, well, I want to get to the information, this is kind of boring, let's move on. So it has 5 chapters. First one being Dragons of Sacred Space, your ritual space, your circle, whatever. Chapter 2, The Dragon of the Sea, hence sea on the title. Chapter 3, The Dragon of Land. Chapter 4, The Dragon of Sky. Chapter 5, Sacred Flame. And then for the Book of Dragon Shadows, it goes over a lot of different stuff. The Draconic Charge of the Goddess, Draconic Charge of the God, alternate Wiccan Reed, the altar, circle dragons, invoking the Lord and the Lady, Goddess and God, enter the Dragon Realm, and Espits, Sabbats, the Great Rite, and there's just a whole bunch of different little things in here that is actually quite interesting. And as for each chapter, the titles of them will be basically self-explanatory in the introduction, which would be, or chapter 1, which would end up being Dragons of Sacred Space. You kind of get a basic understanding of basically the dragons of sea, land, and sky. And then you go even further into it, like pretty much most books. But it is very fascinating, and this is not to promote any sort of book whatsoever. This series that I'm going to do is primarily in order to help me to, I don't even remember if I said it, but it's going to help me to further my studies as well as those around me. I am pretty much just, as I said before, I told you guys that once I gathered information, I would tell you. And I will give you the information that I have gathered. Now, when it comes to my personal experiences, I keep those to basically a few chosen people that I absolutely trust. So those I won't necessarily share, but for any information that I gather that I feel is reliable, then yes, I will. And I know it's been a while since I've done any sort of video on dragons in general, but I had a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I started reading this after I first got it. I got to page 22 and everything fell apart, so I just basically put it down, and every so often I will flip through it. But I'm going to be getting back into this book, and this series is going to basically drive me in order to do so. Knowing that I am helping myself to gain knowledge and wisdom, and also helping those who are also interested in this path. Now, as for the upcoming series, you will see, I will title it SLS because of the title. There will be disclaimers at the beginning of every single video, basically saying that, you know, yes, I own the book, but I don't own the copyright. I didn't write this book. Basically, I'm not promoting it, just giving out information, blah 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 blah. You'll see. And I will end up doing, because of the section, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily be doing section 2, because it is, where'd it go? I went too far. What section am I in? There is some information in here. Not a whole hell of a lot, but there is some. But not like this. I wouldn't be able to do a video on that. I mean, I can easily show you, but I wouldn't be able to do a video on that. So there will be things that I come across that I won't be able to do a video on, but for the most part, I will be putting the information out there. What I was going to say about the titles is look for SLS, and I will have the bracket, and I will have 1 or 2. The first number is going to be for the section. The second number is going to be for the chapter or whatever video is next. Say I get to section 2 and I'm on Charge of the Goddess. That will be 1. Charge of the God would be 2. And it will have the title, but that way you can kind of know what the hell is going on. Because I know that sometimes YouTube doesn't show the whole title. Because sometimes it gets cut off. but that's basically what I'm going to end up doing. And if it's in section 1, you're going to have 1.1 for Dragon of the Sacred Flame, and if there's 2 chapters being done, you will see 1.1.2, meaning both 1 and 2 will be done. Not saying that that is actually going to happen with this, because I don't know yet. I haven't fully gone through chapter 1 yet, again, so I will just basically giving you guys something in order to look forward to. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do it and then, you know, just drop it without letting you guys know. I know I've done that before, and you know what? No, I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to end up people upset or pissed off at me because I said that I wouldn't share my information and I never got around to do it or doing it. Whatever. So yes, look out for that. As for my next coffee time video, I'm still thinking, I'm still brainstorming on what topic I want to do next. There was a video request from one of my YouTube friends on animal totems. That is another topic I need to research because of the fact that I do not know it offhand. And I'm not going to give you guys information that I don't know. You know, I'm just not gonna spew information that just isn't true because I didn't do the work in order to research for it. So, that is that for now. Look forward to the new series. Yes, I will still be doing coffee time at the same time because this is SLS will be primarily on this book. And depending on how this series goes, depends on if I'm going to do any more book reviews, and any more basically dragon information sharing, if that makes sense. So we shall see what happens, but as for this, yes, it will happen. And as for coffee time, yes, it is still continuing because I love my coffee with. Hey guys, sorry about that. My video ended up cutting out. And I didn't feel right with just abruptly ending this video without at least giving you guys something. So yes, we are going to be having a new series starting, and coffee time will continue in order to be done. So that is that for now. Thank you for watching. Love and many dragon blessings.